Get ready to quit the build.
Here we go!
The QTB crew is rounding up all the gaming news and hot topics of the week with a little extra something. And here are your hosts, Bruno, Brad, and Nick.
Hello and welcome to the QTB podcast. My name is Nick and I am joined by the one, the only. If you're listening and not watching, you're missing out on the summer dad get up. It's QTB's Brad. What's going on, man?
Nick, what is going on? It is triple digits. It's almost the 4th of July, which means summer is here. It is hot as heck. So yeah, your boy is in the tank. He's got his glasses on. He's got his hat. I'm in summer mode. It's summer. It's the summertime with the QTB podcast, and you can't be. What's better than that?
You can't beat it. I mean, we have Epic Capture Productions saying, I'll take 2 tickets to that gun show. Oh, yeah. It's looking good, man. Oh, yeah. I'll play the laugh, but I wouldn't say it's a laugh, you know?
It's more of a
do work
it's
out
what's
there.
in right now. You know?
It is. The dad bod has been in for a while, so good for you, you know?
I mean,
Good for us.
and we aren't we we're prime candidates now. We're both dads with 3-year-olds, and we are eligible dads now. We meet that criteria.
We qualify. That's right. It's our time.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've earned my right.
Yeah, great stuff. You know, we were just talking in the pre-show about, Fall Guys, right? Because this game really has gotten a second wind. You know, when the game first came out, it was mostly, I think it was PlayStation and PC. And then, for the longest time, it just wouldn't get that port, or the port to other versions, right, or other consoles got delayed. And now, with the free-to-play I've been having a blast. How's it been going for you?
It has been such a refreshing change of pace. I mean, I can't believe it took this long to get it on Xbox. But that being said, I'm not upset. Like, it's been such a much needed change of pace. That and Shredder's Revenge have been such a fun way to, I've been kind of in need of some new games, some things to kind of get me away from my normal day-to-day stuff. And man, Fall Guys has been so fun. We were talking pre-show just about, I'm itching to get my first crown still. I get to the finals and I hit these challenges, man. The one that's the spinning wheel of hexagons is
that's
brutal
tough.
Because
it
just picks up so fast. And then the closest one I've gotten to is what do you call it? Is it Crown Mountain, I think it's called, Fall Mountain. And I was neck and neck with this guy, and we both leaped to grab the crown, and he probably beat me by a finger's worth of length. And I was and I was like, did I win? And it said eliminated, and I was heartbroken.
Oh, man.
But I have to say, I have to give them credit. I mean, in some ways, I have to say, I think the Battle Pass, to me, this game warrants a really robust Battle Pass, and there's a lot to offer when you look at it, what's in there. And the fact, even if you don't buy the premium version, you're getting some free content that I think whets your appetite to go for the full pass.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff in there. It's a very inexpensive pass as well, and the crossovers, it's really got the almost like a Fortnite level of clout, where they've got the big IPs, a lot of Sega IPs, Sonic, and others. But also we have the Halo event coming up on June 30th, so you can get the Master Chief costume. Are you kidding me? We're getting.
Could you not? 4th of July weekend, 4th of July is on Monday. I mean, people are going to be taking time off. What a perfect time to have an event like that, especially for first-time Xbox players who are going to want that Halo content. Like, I mean, it talk about perfect marketing and strategy to kind of breathe another chapter of life into a game that's been around for a while already.
It has, yeah. And there's a lot of seasons of content that they're still cycling in. We've sold a lot of people in chat, by the way. I've got Lori, Epic Capture Productions, Nadi, and Mike Nay as well, saying, "Oh yeah, we gotta give it a try." I tell you, we've had so many shooter-based battle royale games, right? That it's just refreshing to play something that just eliminates that Twitch aspect, where it's just simple, chaotic, fun multiplayer of just running and jumping. That's what you do. Occasionally grab, occasionally dive. I know I grab.
And can we just say how dad bod unathletic they look too? Like, I mean, it's not like they're gifted at it, right? Like, they're just like flailing around, and it's it adds another layer of comedy to it because you can't take it too seriously. You have to laugh at how bad you wipe out, how bad you miss time jumps. Like there's a lightness about it, an airiness about it that keeps it from being too serious. Because if it was too competitive, I think it would get frustrating. But when you see how it's like kind of like Wipeout meets, like it's got a Wipeout aspect to it too.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's colorful. It's fun.
Yeah. I mean, my wife was even like, I gotta try that. That looks fun. I'm like, yeah, it's not easy though.
Yeah. Judas Monk saying it's a game about hugging. Pro tip, you get an achievement for hugging somebody. If you grab them and they grab you back, it's considered a hug. There's a stat for it in the game and you get an achievement. So go hug a friend today in Fall Guys.
until you get to the finish line when there's like 3 people pushing you back from finishing and it's like
That's not a hug.
A push battle. It's not a hug.
Oh man, fun stuff. Well, yeah, I definitely want to get that in because we've been playing a lot of that lately, and I think it's a fun game to hop into. Yeah.
And you can play with such a large group of people, right? I mean, you should have a little QTB community Fall Guys event.
I think we're gonna have
that'd be a lot of fun.
It's cross-platform, so let's get her done. That's it.
Let's see.
Fire that up in the Discord.
I talk to our patrons, see who wants to join in with us. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
There you go. Well, Brad, we do have some gaming news to get here. A little bit later, we're going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct Mini that actually aired earlier in the day here when we recorded. And a lot of some stuff we knew about, some surprises. So I'm excited to get into that. But also later, we're going to be talking about how, and this is kind of diverging, if you will, from the gaming theme, but there's reportedly the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028, they're considering adding a Ninja Warrior course as an Olympic sport as part of the pentathlon. So we'll talk about that because Ninja Warrior is essentially just a real life, platformer.
That's true.
Yeah. Much like Fall Guys, it would be hilarious to watch me try. So we'll jump into that as well. But first,
I wonder how
Brad,
you qualify. Like, what are your? We can talk about it later, but like, what are your credentials to qualify for that? Like,
there's a lot of people that they are like professional ninjas. Like they do that. There's entire gyms set up. That's what they do is train people for that. It's almost like kind of a CrossFit style thing, but. It's interesting. There's a whole culture around it, especially with the show in America and the global versions as well, right? Initially, Crew was created there in Japan as Sasuke. But before we get into all the news there, Brad, we have to give a shout out to our amazing sponsors, and that, of course, is the Winner Arcade. Brad, I gotta tell you, we've been talking a lot about the live claw machines that the Winner app provides to you anytime, anywhere, and really, in my opinion, the best in the world. They're very high quality, very low latency. It's easy to play and just jump in and enjoy real arcade games. But one of the things I want to talk about is about the digital games that you can play while you're on the app, because they have a whole slew of arcade-style games that you can play as much as you like and actually earn tickets. I'm talking about classics like Whack-A-Mole, Stack the Blocks. A lot of the things that you would see in a real arcade are available, and you're gonna win tickets when you play. It's skill-based, so if you perform better, if you whack more moles, Brad, you're gonna get more tickets. Come on, you gotta try it, right?
Hey, you know what? It's a great way to whack-a-mole and not get tennis elbow. I can tell you that.
That's right. There you go.
But it's incredible to play the live events, play the live claw machines, but also have this ability. What an amazing game. What an amazing app to have that much variety at your fingertips to have a great time. I mean, you got to download it today. You got to check it out.
It's so much fun, and I have to remind, because a lot of the competing apps, they have a completely different setup that it really gets a lot more like subscription-based, that kind of thing, but not here, because on Winner, all you have to do is make any single purchase. It could be just for a few dollars to buy some tokens, and all the shipping on the prizes you win are going to be free for life.
Free. Free.
Years
shipping.
Down the road,
That's
you
amazing.
are set. You cannot beat that. So, to our listeners or viewers, make sure to actually download the app. We're going to have the link in the show notes, or just search for Winner on the Android or iOS store. Download the app. You can hit the play for free button. No registration needed, and they're going to let you play for a prize for free until you win. And then when you keep playing, because you're going to keep playing, it's a lot of fun, make sure that you go to the pay site. The link is also in the show notes, pay.app.winnerwinner.com. Log in with your credentials there, and use promo code QTB when you check out through PayPal. You're going to get 30% bonus tokens on your next purchase. Bonus. So you're already a winner. Now you're getting a bonus. Okay. So again, thanks as
You're a double
always.
winner, aka a winner.
Hey, there it is.
Hey.
Oh, I was supposed to hit the rim shot, but hold on.
Well,
There we go. You know,
there we go.
I do my best with the soundboard, Brad. I really do. But thanks as always to our sponsors at Winner Arcade. So, Brad, let's just jump right into it because this is a really exciting Nintendo Direct mini, as is just classic Nintendo form. We had no idea it was
So I
coming.
was gonna say, so Nick, for those who don't know, can you tell us a little bit why they call it a mini versus a regular Nintendo Direct? Can you fill in our listeners and folks who are checking us out for the first time? What's the difference?
Sure. I mean, basically means don't expect any huge first party announcements, right? So typically Nintendo Directs will get
Right.
broken up into three categories. You have the big heavy hitter Directs where you know like it's going to be all first party, maybe like a third party segment here and there. But like this is when the big game, like Breath of the Wild 2, that's when you would expect something like that. Whereas you also have the indie directs, which only focus on indie developers. We have one of those I want to say a month or so ago. Terry and I actually did a live react video on our YouTube channel. And
Exactly.
this
Yeah.
is the mini,
Shout out,
right?
Terry.
Where, yeah, what's up, Terry? He's in the chat. This is a direct mini, which is focusing more on the third party publishers, not
The third
necessarily
party.
indie titles.
Okay.
It's kind of an in between, which for Nintendo, that's great because they really do need that third party support to thrive as a platform, right?
So yeah, so what about Nintendo Direct Mini today caught your eye, Nick? What were some things you saw that really caught your eye?
So I'm just going to go down the list here because there were some things that we had already seen announcements for on other platforms, but we are now finding out is they're also coming to the Switch as well. This one we talked about on a previous episode, which was from the Summer of Gaming, the Persona announcement. That the Persona series, including Persona 5 Royale, I think, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 3 Portable, are coming to the Nintendo Switch. We had known that they were coming to Xbox and PC after being PS5 or PlayStation exclusives for quite a while. We're finally getting an announcement that Nintendo will also be picking up this iconic JRPG series from Atlas on October 21st for Persona 5. And then, of course, Persona 4 and Persona 3. I mean, Brad, it's no surprise that this happened. Joker, the protagonist from Persona 5, became a playable character in Smash. A lot of people thought we would get those games, so it was just a matter of time for these games to show up, right?
Are you surprised that they're not bundling the games and that they're going to be selling them individually? Do you feel like it's something that I feel like sometimes when something comes late to a platform, usually they bundle and give a deal. Are you surprised that they're going separately for all three games?
I'm not surprised for Persona 5. That is a game in and of itself. I mean, they're all very robust games, JRPGs, and Lord knows you get your money's worth for these
Course, yeah.
titles. Maybe Persona 4 and 3, I could have seen them bundling, but at the same time, these games are very much critically acclaimed. They're beloved. I am not surprised in the slightest. I don't know what the quality of Persona 3 especially, as I believe that was a PSP title originally. So you know how that's going to look as a standalone game. We really, time will tell. And also, in this case on the Switch, you are going to be buying these individually, whereas we're getting some Game Pass access on the Xbox side day one, which I am so stoked for. I really can't wait to play through Persona 5. Just a really really great thing to see these again. Formerly, I don't want to say timed exclusive, just an IP that really had been locked into one ecosystem for a while, finally get some life across other platforms. Everybody wins anytime that happens.
Yeah, I agree with you. But you know where I'm not as happy, where not everyone is winning, is with the next one on the list, and I'm a little salty.
I am so salty. And I think Bruno had sent me that message. I think you messaged it to me as well because everyone was looking for my take because
I
I'm the Mega
did.
Man guy. And this announcement
Exactly.
was for, the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. And this is an odd one, okay? So let's go back to the history books here because initially, when the Mega Man collection games started coming out, they weren't available on every console, okay? Over time, they did end up coming to Xbox and what have you, and I think a Switch later. But for a while there, they were locked to certain platforms. But when the X collection came out, or the Mega Man Zero collection, also a GBA series, came out in the ZX collection. That was multi-platform day one. Well, this announcement is that, of course, Mega Man Battle Network, the kind of real-time RPG style strategy game series for the Game Boy Advance, is bundling all 10 titles into a single entry that is going to be coming to the Switch in 2023 and sold in two separate parts if purchased digitally. So let me just get into my vent here, because here's I have griped so much about being a Mega Man fan and just the heartbreak that we've experienced, that the fan base has experienced over the years. Mega Man Legends 3 ultimately getting sort of developed and then canceled after Mega Man creator Inafune's rough split with Capcom, going to create Mighty Number 9. That was a spectacular flop, one of the biggest Kickstarter disasters of all time. And then, now we're getting this collection after collection after collection. Capcom does not want to take risks, Brad. And it's a concern for me, because while I'm happy to see these games preserved and see them come back in some capacity, I loved Battle Network growing up. These are very fun games, don't get me wrong. But it just seems like all Mega Man is ever going to get is the retro, let's bundle it all and ship it out and never produce a new title, aside from Mega Man 12 that we got relatively recently, but even that's years behind us. It just feels like Mega Man is stuck in the past.
Do you think it's maybe a scare factor? Like they don't want to have to, there's been so much angst around new titles or new IP for an existing franchise, right? Like,
Right.
that you don't want to touch it, right? You just want to bottle up what you have. It's lightning in a bottle. Why let it out? Why try to replicate it? Give it to the fans, bundle it up, and give them what's been out there, because, as you said, it's so beloved, right?
So
and they are adding in some a few new things, right? Like an art gallery, and I saw a music library mode. Does that whet your palate at all?
it doesn't in the slightest. Like, that's
No,
the bare
not at all.
minimum that you need to include if you're going to create something new like this, right? Sonic Origins is flawed from what I've heard on certain versions, but they added a lot. They added the widescreen support. They added the new modes, characters that normally couldn't play in certain games. You can go back and add them in, and even like a mission-based mode and like an unlock system too. A lot of stuff going on in that wasn't present. I'm not saying it's perfect. I have gripes about Sonic Origins as well, as do most fans, but that's the bare minimum, Brad. And my first big issue, aside from this just being another way for them to never produce new Mega Man games, is that there's no online, because one of the things is it's Mega Man Battle Network, and in the GBA games
Right.
you had the ability to link up with a friend with a link cable and battle it out. I had a friend of mine, shout out to Seth, who also had the game, and we all the time after school we would battle and build out our decks. It's a very fun strategy game. If I remember correctly, Brad, there's even a niche competitive scene that is built. I think it's called the N1GS, built
Okay.
around Mega Man Battle Network. That's how good of a battle system it is. It's very fun to play, and very deep, and there's a lot of counterplay options and that kind of thing. So for them to only make this a single player offering, and what really needs, I think, that multiplayer aspect to thrive, that's strike one. Okay. But again, the other thing too is,
Well, can I
Yeah.
add strike two? Even if they
Please.
had that, you and I wouldn't get to play together because it's not coming out on Xbox.
I don't
So
get it, man. I just
why?
flat out don't get it.
Why are they not bringing it out on Xbox? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
So
This is a head scratcher, and no one seems to know why, because it was kind of established that once we got, like I said, the Mega Man X collection, showed up, I think, close to day one on Xbox. Then the Zero and ZX collection also was multi-platform. They're just GBA games. Like, you're just porting them over.
yeah.
You can't tell me that like the production cost of putting it on one platform versus the other is too much. And I don't know if they had some kind of like exclusivity agreement that they didn't announce, and maybe that's why we're confused right now. Yeah, I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. I wouldn't have bought it either way, but now I'm extra not going to buy it, Brad, and that's even worse.
To hear you be so salty, Nick, it doesn't happen that often. But if they disgrace your beloved Mega Man, I should be prepared. I should know that's coming.
It never ends, man. Like the disappointment. Like, I remember when Mega Man 12 came out, and it was a great game. I sped run it a bunch of times. I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry, Mega Man 11. And I'm like, oh man, this is such a great game. It seemed like it was selling well. I'm like, oh, this is such a good sign that they're going to continue to create new games. And then it just kind of didn't happen. Well, what we found out
So
is that Capcom. So one of the things that's happened is they've downsized a lot, and they have very much had so many colossal failures with Mega Man titles over the years that, and there are other IPs as well. They're afraid to take risks, Brad. Like all they want to do is put out new Resident Evil games, remaster Resident Evil games. They're just now coming out with one of the first new IPs in a while with Exo Primal that does look fun. But if they're still unwilling to move forward with Mega Man and find some way to bring the character into the new century, new century, we're we're so middle aged. It's 2022. Yeah, the new century. Yeah, 2000, 2020. It's the same year, right?
yeah, well, but your point, your debacle aside,
Yeah.
if as a passionate fan yourself, how would you propose the Capcom to bring Mega Man forward? What is the next iteration of the franchise look like to you? Like, what would you like to see?
It's tough to say, and maybe that's one of the problems is that they've gone to the boardroom many times. I don't think you can continue to just pump out the same Mega Man formula. Mega Man 11 did that for the most part, and I don't think they can continue to just make because that's what happened with the original series, right? With both Mega Man and Mega Man X, is they just kept copy pasting with little new things added. And eventually, the sales started to decline. Right when they got to like X6, the sales were abysmal. But then X7 comes out, which is the 3D game, which is notorious for being a terrible game. And their jump to 3D, like most franchises, was just
Struggled,
just awful.
Yeah.
So I don't know because I think it's going to take a major AAA investment. I would like to see something like the Legend series, Brad, where we got the deep lore and story behind the Mega Man games, but besides just run from point A to point B. But that was a niche audience as well. The realist in me, and I hate bringing that guy out, seems to think that maybe it's just an issue of a platformer by itself really can't stand on its own merit these days. It needs to be more front and center, more
See,
like what Nintendo's doing with Mario.
So what I did with you there was I made you show that in adversely or indirectly, conversely, that what they've done with bundling this makes sense. Because if it's a once playthrough, it's a quick playthrough, platformers can't exist on their own. You bundle all of them together so you get a quick playthrough of multiple games.
Yeah.
And so you feel like you're getting more depth of content than you would be if you were getting them one at a time. So I mean, you just show there isn't a lot of ways to turn that seem natural and easy to kind of further the franchise. So right now they're doing what they can to bring at least this to a wider audience and bundle together the Battle Network series, and that's going to be a fun playthrough for a lot of folks. And yes, is it missing the multiplayer, but it's still for you like the Mega Man fans, there's another opportunity to grab a set of games and enjoy the Battle Network like you once did.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, part 3 of why I don't like this collection. They're saying it's 10 games. It's not 10 games, Brad. It's like 6 games. Because Mega Man Battle Network did the same thing that Pokemon did, which was after a couple of entries, they're like, wait a second, we can sell people the same game twice. So they started releasing, like, I think it was 3 and on. They started doing like now there's the blue and the red version. And it's essentially the same game, minor changes, but there's certain like abilities and characters that you only see in one version. So now they're getting the double buy. So 10 games, I'm sorry, that is just deceptive. That ain't it. Mm-mm.
You've been on a rant. We spent some time on this. I gotta ask, what are our listeners saying? Or what are we seeing anything out there? We got any comments on this?
Well, Lori is pointing out that she's asking, what about the Sonic cycle, right? And that's a good observation because my two my nearest and dearest games IPs are Mega Man and Sonic, so at least I have Sonic to cling on to, and that's been as a fan, it's a tough cycle as well, Brad, because you get more excited for the fan games than you do for the official releases. And, we'll be getting into Sonic Origins a little bit later. I'm very curious how well this is going to perform on the Switch. It wasn't looking like it was doing all that well on the tech demo videos IGN was showing, I think on an Xbox Series X. So, there's always that multi-platform porting issue of like Nintendo Switch is always going to be bottom of the barrel. And I've seen some multi-platform games really come in embarrassing Especially like the Sonic Colors Ultimate is a great example. One of the last Sonic games to release a re-release of Sonic Colors that on the Switch version, Brad. I mean, the frame rate was chugging, the glitches were a flowing. They patched it eventually, but even still, it's man, you got me fired up today, man. 3 weeks in a row.
I gotta sit back and just let you. Stage is yours, my friend. You got it.
Oh man. Well, we got other games to get to, Brad. So we'll just keep this train rolling. Also, Mega Man, Mario and Rabbids, Spark of Hope. Yeah, no more Mega Man, please. My heart can't handle it. So we got a release date for this game. Again, this was already announced. We now know it's going to be coming out on October 20th.
I think the trailer gave away one big piece of information, right? We found out about a new playable character.
Who'd you see?
Bowser
Brad?
is a playable character.
Yeah, that's right. It's fun, man. It's always good to see the villains in these crossover games get their due, right? Because you very rarely get to play as them. Why not just throw them in the mix? Get a heavy style brawler.
I was gonna say, I mean, we got to have some Bowser fans out there, right? I mean, from all the villains in these games, I think Bowser is somewhat beloved compared to others, right? I mean, listeners, who loves Bowser out there? Let us know in the chat.
Can I tell you something? My kid is a Bowser fan. Okay, so we've got the amiibo
there
case.
You go.
All the Smash amiibos. He's got his pick of the litter of video game characters. And when every now and then, when he on good behavior, I'll pop open the case. I'll say, pick out an amiibo. You can play with it for a while. He always goes for the Bowser. He goes nuts for this for this Koopa. I'm telling you.
I'm even looking behind you at your Super Mario Kart poster back there. Look how sweet Bowser looks in the dead center. He stands out. He's such an iconic character that visually, stands out. How could your son not want to pick that? I mean, he's pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie.
I gotcha. I'm so happy for this crossover series. What an unlikely thing, because think about how conservative Nintendo is with doing crossovers aside from Smash, right? And this has been, I remember seeing when the trailer for the first Mario and Rabbids game, I think it aired on like a one of the Game Awards or like an E3 presentation, and the creator of the Rabbids, was there, and like he was teary-eyed. Like it was such a moment, because seeing this incredible crossover between these two, franchises from Ubisoft and Nintendo. It's unlikely, and even more unlikely, in my opinion, that it would have done well enough to get a sequel. But if you're into turn-based, or like Mario RPG, great example, such a huge cult following for that game. People love that turn-based style of combat. You're kind of getting that almost in like an XCOM style with the ranged gunplay of these weapons. It's very cool, and I'm really happy to see that we're getting another solid entry in the franchise.
And for folks who want to check it out more, learn more about it, I believe there's a deep dive stream tomorrow that'll have more information on this game, or it's coming out. It'll be available to see shortly, I think. So
right.
Make sure to check that out too, because I think there'll be a lot more about this game you can get excited about even in the coming days.
There we go. Shout out to Art Boy in the chat saying Bowser fan here. There you go. He's got a fan base, What can you say?
I can't complain. I mean, he's a beloved villain. He's like one of the OG villains, right? I mean, if we're going to go back and talk about characters that stand out, a villain that stands out, he was the first villain I battled. Mario was the first game I played. So how can he, he's always going to have that spot in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
In my heart.
Definitely. All right. So Portal, the companion collection, did release on Switch as of this recording. So Portal 1 and 2 is there for you with local split screen and online multiplayer as well. That's great. The Switch's portability, we talk a lot about the gaming industry is kind of raving about the Steam Deck and the convenience that comes with it, but we also often don't talk about the availability of the units and the price point of the units, plus just the difficulty of, you need a Steam account. It's kind of it's really aimed more towards PC players than the family-friendly, affordable nature of the Switch console, especially the Switch Lite. So it's great to see Portal come to this series, or rather to this platform, Brad. There's another great example of a franchise that it's like, man, we're still in collection mode instead of new content mode. And I have to think, I know as a fan of both Half-Life and Portal that every time I see these franchises get milked, aside from the Half-Life VR game that came out, which I'm not going to play because I don't own the Steam VR headset. I really want a Portal 3. That's all this is making me think about, Brad. When do I get it?
That's a good question. I mean, I think we're seeing this bundling as another way, like you said, to milk extend sales, grab people who missed the first wave, right? And at least with this, you're still getting you're getting the local gameplay, you're getting the split screen, you're getting the online multiplayer. So it's not like you're getting a diluted version of the original game because you're getting it bundled. Now, at least for with Portal 2, you're still getting everything that it's offering.
Yeah.
So I think it buys these companies, these developers time. I think I'll push it back on us as the gamers, as the society. How many times do we just pass on games because it's not something we immediately go, hey, that looks fun? It's
Mm,
an opportunity for us to start to take some time, explore some games not in our wheelhouse, and try and like actually appreciate what's been put out the last 5 or 10 years. So
yeah.
I'm going to look at it as an opportunity, not a detriment, and challenge all of us to go pick up a game or two that you wouldn't necessarily have picked up before, especially all these that are getting really re-released, and try something new and see what you think.
That's a great challenge, you know. I guess it's summer of gaming, you know, to kind of step outside your comfort zone. These sales are such a great way,
Yeah.
right? You get the big Steam sale, and all the platforms have kind of rallied around that. Where almost every platform you can think of is having a big sale right now. So it's always a great time to just kind of step outside your comfort zone and try something new. So there you go. So yeah, Portal 1 and 2 now available. Now, Brad, I got to tell you, one game that absolutely caught me off guard. I believe this was an announcement. This was a new game that I hadn't heard of before from Square Enix of all people. It is Harvestella. Okay, so let me tell you
Tell me
something.
about it.
I've been
Tell me about it. Yeah.
I've been
Fill me
talking on
in.
the podcast, Brad, about how over the years I've really been getting into JRPGs and appreciating them more for the art style, the music, the storytelling that you just don't get in westernized games. And Square Enix, I mean, who very few are going to do it better than them. So if this
Hmm.
this game concept is ticking a lot of boxes that I never even considered crossing over, which is the normal kind of real time RPG. Looks gorgeous, looks like it plays. It's just very fantastical, right? These worlds. But also combining that style of RPG with a lifestyle sim game like Stardew Valley, right, or Harvest Moon, where you're not only out there exploring and getting into combat and learning new abilities, but you're also growing a farm. You're cooking with those materials. You're working through the seasons and interacting with the village. It's kind of reminding me of a Stardew Valley, but with the combat section really fleshed out
Hmm.
to a whole new level. This is a mashup that I think a lot of people are sleeping on. I am very excited for this game. This might be the dark horse for me at 2022.
I feel like it's something that people there's gonna be a lot of material to digest. You're not gonna just pop in and pop out. You're gonna want to play this game for a while to really reap the benefits of the depth that it seemed to be advertising, right?
Yeah,
This is just something you're gonna get lost and be like, man, I just played that for 4 hours. I played that for 6 hours and it was a blast, right?
right.
Because you're doing so many different things because of that lifestyle sim gameplay along with the kind of that fantastical RPG world aspect that you're gonna like you said. I mean, you summed it up great. I think it is a sleeper, and I think it comes what out November, early November. So
Yeah, it's on its way.
perfect
Yeah, it's going to be out
time.
pretty soon.
I mean, few months away to really like kind of get excited and keep that in your back pocket to get your hands on in November and check it out.
Yeah, Laurie's saying that she loves a Harvest Moon, and I have to agree. That was such a great series, man. I picked up Harvest Moon 64 was the first game that I had played and ended up purchasing, and there was no other game like it at the time that I had experienced, where it was a real like sim style game. Like you're building a house, you're interacting and developing relationships with villagers, ultimately getting married if you want to, and deciding who you get married to, and then even having a baby. Like that was like very much real life stuff that I in a way maybe kind of even prepared me for adult life. So I these types of games very much are near and dear to me. Stardew Valley was a game that, and still is a game that I wish I had more time to dive more into. It's a game that kind of rewards the time that you can sink into it because there's so many different ways you can play it, and the years and the cycle of the seasons. I know that was it Bored Ape, I think they're called. No, that's the NFT guys. is this Concerned Ape is what they're called. Yeah, is working on a new game now. I think it's called like the Haunted Chocolatier. So I'm very excited to see Square Enix's take on the lifestyle sim. I think if they can put their JRPG finesse, their spin on it, this could be a good game. I'm kind of hoping it gets ported to other consoles. I'd love to see it, perform the best it can in the Switch. It just never is the case.
So am I hearing you? This might be a day one pickup for you.
Might
Is
be.
that what I'm hearing?
And that's really rare for me on the
Wow.
Switch, Brad. Really rare.
I was gonna say you heard it. You heard it here
Yeah.
first. That is a rarity. This might be a day one pickup for Nick right now, folks. So not a game to sleep on.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
The audience is shocked. Nick is spending money. Yeah, thanks everybody. These days, I'm just spending my Microsoft rewards points mostly. So if I bust out
Don't
my
worry.
wallet, yeah, it's a good one.
Nick's spending all his Microsoft reward points on the gym right now for summer, and then it'll be the fall. So
If
you can
only.
get back to spending it on a game. You know
If
what I mean?
only I could. Yeah, I get my Planet Fitness gift card. Oh my gosh. Oh man. So yeah, November 4th for that game, Brad. And now here's another exciting announcement from Ron Gilbert's island puzzle game, right? It's the iconic Return to Monkey Island, of course, the original Monkey Island games for PC. You want to talk about just the quintessential tech point and click adventure experience. Hard to beat.
Exactly my point. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Point and click. A lot of games, simplicity is sometimes a lost art, right? And I think being able to have the sequel come out with this for the Monkey Island series is really exciting. I think people are going to, again, we were just talking about Fall Guys earlier, right? Another simplistic game in concept. And sometimes those are just the fun ones that get lost in for a little while that really, I don't know, remind you of the innocence of gaming.
Yeah.
Right. And I think this is another one that, for fans, that this could be another one that you could, just, get into and enjoy yourself for a while and just, set the controller down and be like, man, that was fun,
I
So-
love the classic Sierra point and click games. I was terrible at them. I didn't play a lot of them. When I owned a PC it was in that era of actually going from Windows 95 to MS DOS and booting up these games. So I kind of missed that era. So the games that do try to capture that essence are very important, I think, for gaming history and to just keep that genre alive because the stories they tell. Oftentimes really help to replace the normal gameplay loops that we've come to expect from most titles. And great get for Switch, right? Because now this announcement was that it is coming first to the Nintendo Switch in 2022. Eventually, I think it's a timed exclusive, so we will eventually see it to other platforms. But that's a big
You
one.
make a really good point. You make a really good point there, Nick. We talk about kind of the diversity and range that Game Pass offers. But Nintendo's doing the pretty good job now over the last few events of announcements where they're kind of carving out their own landscape in terms of having certain games come to the Switch first or carving out their own library that
Yeah.
is such a I would say even a compliment or such a difference to what you get on the Game Pass that like I could see having both and it being enjoyable in completely different but yet similar ways.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you've
good
gotten both,
observation.
right? So, I mean, you have to be, I mean, you're kind of a good example, right? You've got Game Pass and you've got the Switch, and, so this has to get you excited as a Switch owner, right?
I think so. Yeah, but time will tell if I actually purchase it for the Switch, especially if it is a timed exclusive. But it is fun to see these unexpected titles show up on the Switch, and sometimes not other places. There was the news that it was a couple months ago that the Adventures of Putt Putt, the games, came out on the Switch. Like that's such a perfect fit for those consoles, and what a great way to kind of pass on the torch of these educational games onto future generations. And sometimes the Switch is the only place, for whatever reason, that these games end up coming to. So I think the family-friendly nature and the ease of access that you can have a Switch and play without needing a TV. Not to say that most people would have one, but just the portability of it. And even the touchscreen interface, which some games do fully utilize. It really does help a lot. So yeah, Monkey Island, I think, is going to be hopefully a successful entry. And we'll see more of these types of games from Ron Gilbert and company. Now, Brad, one game that I'll kind of fly by this one because Super Bomberman R2. So the original Bomberman R, we actually got an announcement, I want to say a couple weeks ago. They're shuttering the game. It is an online service. of trying to take the Bomberman formula and kind of create a battle royale take on it. So, of course, no surprise that they are trying to now follow it up with a sequel. I don't know how successful the game was, but it really wasn't a game I could get into. But at the same time, Bomberman has never really been a franchise or a series that I could get into, probably because I'm terrible at the game. I blew myself up more than I blew up anybody else, Brad.
At least you can be honest with our fans. You know what I mean? Sometimes we like to toot our own horn and say, yeah, I'm amazing at every game. No, we're honest here at
Yeah.
QTB, and I can tell you I wasn't either. So
Yeah.
I'm with you, Nick. It's not a disrespect on the game. It's just the fact that I'm terrible.
Yeah.
So I'm
Oh,
with
yeah.
you.
We were just playing like the classic SNES Bomberman, me and Terry and some others in the Discord. And yeah, I mean, like, it seems like every time I'd put down a bomb, I'd put down a bomb on the other side and just get pinned. And then before you know it,
Doof, there it is.
there it is.
Doof, there
You know,
it is.
blowing myself
Doof,
up.
there-
But doof sounds like an explosion. I can do that.
I like the wordplay. That was nice.
Thank you. Thank you. I've got a limited soundboard here and I'm just trying to do my best with it. Okay, but yeah, this game is coming in 2023. And there are some new features like a castle mode where it's like 1 versus 15 of one person trying to defend. And also the ability to create and share custom battle stages. So if you are a fan of the Bomberman games, check it out. We got Terry over here saying the game was bad. Our gameplay was bad because he had no idea what I was doing. Brad, this guy Terry low key like snipes me with a bomb from across the map. He gets the boots that let you kick the bombs. And like I'm sitting over here in a corner, and the guy just casually he couldn't have timed it better. I don't care what you say, Terry. You are a sleeper pro
Yeah,
Bomberman player.
You can't take your eyes off Terry. That's number one rule. You can't do it.
That's right.
I see you, Terry. I see the real Terry. I'm watching you. I know what's up.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, of course, we have to go to some of the other entries. I think it's Live Alive or Live Alive. This is a cult classic RPG coming to the Nintendo Switch. That is a very interesting premise and one that if you're into that pixel sprite style of JRPG, you're going to have a lot of fun with. But I don't really know a whole lot else about it beyond that. We got some more information on Monster Hunter Rise, just a roadmap. We already knew about this expansion to what has been a very successful entry.
Well, you teased it earlier, and we've gotten there now, Nick.
Yeah.
So we've made our way down the list to Sonic Frontiers, and I'm just going to stop it there and open the floor. Pass the baton over. You got some perspective for our listeners.
do.
Fill them in. Let them know how you're feeling, and fill them in what's going on with Sonic Frontiers. Give them your perspective.
This trailer actually showed us some more things that at least from all the gameplay trailers I've seen so far, that we hadn't seen, which is what they're calling the Cyberspace Zone. So essentially, Sonic Frontiers has a large open hub world, right? That's what a lot of the gameplay is showing of this sprawling, grassy, mountainous region. And for a while there, what people had realized was that the traditional Sonic levels are still existing in Sonic Frontiers, but in the form of what they're calling these cyberspace zones that you unlock and jump into. And they're reminiscent of classic zones. One looks like Green Hill, and I think one looks like, I want to say, Sky Sanctuary from Sonic 3. And that was important because a lot of people were asking, like, is there going to be any kind of just traditional Sonic platforming here? Are they going the full tilt boogie, AAA open world mistake that a lot of love developers have made? We talked about that on a previous episode, that way too many developers are being like, oh, open world is the thing we're doing right now. And a lot of them pay dearly for it because it just takes so much longer to develop, and you end up with a less polished product unless you really know what you're doing and you can pull something like Elden Ring off day one. So Sonic Frontiers,
it's like a penny. It's like a penny dropped in a big pool of water. That's what
exactly.
I feel like bad open world concept games are.
Yeah,
it's just a penny rolling around a big pool of water.
It doesn't matter, how big and beautiful a game is with the world if there's nothing to do inside of it.
Exactly.
I'm looking at so many of the gameplay trailers showing the open world and how it's like, yeah, it looks nice, but there's just like random rails just kind of tossed about here and there and just kind of tossed in to give you something to do rather than just run around aimlessly. The verdict is still out on this, Brad. I know how Sonic games go, so I'm expecting the worst and hoping for the best, but I am not going to go in really expecting a AAA masterpiece. Probably will purchase it day one because it looks interesting enough, and I love 3D Sonic in its prime, Sonic Adventure 2 and even Sonic Generations, Sonic Heroes 2, by the way, sleeper hit. There you
I
go.
have to say, I'm gonna toss it to our listeners. Can we get it? Can we get any reactions? Any votes? Yes. Votes? No.
Mhm.
Who's excited? Who's buying Sonic Frontiers day one? Who thinks it's gonna be a hit? Who's gonna think it's gonna be a banger? And who's gonna think it's gonna be a flop? Let us know in the chat as we continue talking about this event, and we'll get back to it later to see what people think.
Yeah,
I I'm pessimistic, Nick. I'm
you
with
should be.
you.
Hmm.
It feels like the magic sauce is missing. There's something there that the pixie dust is not there,
Right.
and it's just going to feels flat
Yeah.
and feels slow. Like I feel like
Hmm.
Sonic. Part of what made Sonic fun and hard is he moves so fast, and you're trying to just complete and connect and make these big runs, and the open world concept almost makes Sonic feel slow. And that
Right.
to me is concerning because then you're losing a bit of what made Sonic fun historically. So I think the jury's out, but if I'm a betting man, I think they're gonna underwhelm on sales than what they're projecting right now for this game.
You know that I am the eternal optimist in gaming and life, but Sonic has beat me down so many times that I will always come in pessimistic so that the bar is lowered to the point that I
Okay.
cannot be disappointed.
So are you more disappointed about the bundling and lack of future of Mega Man or the prospects of Sonic Frontiers?
I'm more at peace with the fact that Mega Man is kind of a dead IP at this point. That part's fine. I get salty about it from time to time when I see these collections come out, but I'm at peace with it, Brad. Whereas this, I'm always
Okay.
just like, oh, like how's this gonna go? What are they gonna? How bad are they gonna mess it up? Like, will we even get another Sonic game? Will this be the one that takes Sega under? These are the questions that go through a Sonic's fan's mind every day. Because like I said, we get more excited for the fan games than we do for the official titles, and that is not an exaggeration because some of them are better. But we'll see, man. It's on
Okay.
its way.
All right.
The time will tell. I'm looking forward to getting this in my hands and really giving it a fair shot. I want to see them find a way to make it work. I just don't think Sega has the manpower to really produce a true AAA open world experience. We'll see. Yeah. I'll tell you what else we're going to see here, Brad, and that is okay. This is very cool. We saw this, I think, in the summer of gaming, and this is Disney Dreamlight Valley. Okay, so all I need to tell you to sell you on this, or to sell anybody that was an Animal Crossing fan, is this is the Disney answer to Animal Crossing. I love the
Mm-hmm.
concept behind it. I
Mm-hmm.
know it's free to play. I know Gameloft is behind it, so you're going to be spending the big bucks to really get everything if you want to go that full whale route, right? But so Disney Dreamlight Valley is essentially it takes place in the Magic Kingdom. It's a free to play game, and you are just a real avatar. You're not like a Disney character. That kind of like an Animal Crossing. You're setting up shop and you're helping these Disney characters to create their own little spaces and their homes and let them move in and interact with them, activities you can do. I mean, if you're a fan of Disney and you liked Animal Crossing, this is going to
This is for
be
you.
you
It's a home run.
you can't mess it up. You
I,
can't mess
I
it up.
agree. I think it knows they know who they're going after with this game, and for those, it's going to be an absolute success. They're gonna love it. It's just gonna be one of those that has a following from day one until forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, seeing Gameloft as being behind it, I do have to wonder like how predatory are they going to be? I know that the Switch games
That's a
typically
fair
tend to
point. That's a
avoid
fair
it.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we've had like Pokemon Unite, that does I wouldn't it the company behind it, right? Like people thought, "Oh man, it's going to be really really bad." I mean, they are releasing new characters at a very rapid pace and you got to pay for them unless you want to grind for hundreds of hours. But we'll see what happens, It's just I'm really excited to see how this goes. And the good news is actually on the Game Pass side, Brad, one of the announcements that they made this week is that the early access version of it will be available to Game Pass subscribers. So we'll be able to play that, I believe, in September in the early access mode,
Yeah,
whereas most
that
people will
is
have to pay
just
for it.
that's coming quick for those folks.
Yeah.
So um September 6th, man, that's like tomorrow. The way time's going right now.
I know time is relative to people, but it's just like, man, you blink and half a June is gone. So you're not wrong. When I see 2023
No,
anymore, I just like, oh, that's not too far away. That's fine.
all of June is gone. What are you talking about, man? We're
Uh,
in July now. I
yes,
mean,
we are triple digit heat and all, as you know.
mhm.
Well, yeah, aside from that, we had a couple other interesting minor announcements. I did like seeing the Pac-Man World repack
You
official
read my
announcement.
mind. Yeah, I was with you on that one too. Just to kind of have a remake of this classic game is going to be a lot of fun to have on the Switch. So another iconic character that's had a mainstay in our hearts for several decades.
One of the things that I learned through playing the Pac-Man collection on Game Pass, because it has a lot of the classic, even like the DS games, and
Hmm.
beyond. Like it's a very robust collection that I encourage anyone that wants to kind of learn more about the Pac-Man's gaming history and the lesser known titles, because they tried, Brad, for a while to figure out, like, how do we get him off of this grid of Waka 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 and like actually make him into, because he was Namco's mascot for all intents and purposes. And so they
Right.
they they tried, and some of the games you can see where they failed because they tried doing the platformer and it wasn't fun. It was weird. Like they almost tried to emulate Sonic with the momentum based platforming and just failed
Hmm.
miserably. Some of the other games were decent, but Pac-Man World is probably the best example of a solid 3D platformer. So I'm really hoping this does well, because I want to see Pac-Man kind of break out of that mold, because he's very much stuck in that same rut of here's the collections and here are the classic games. But come on, man, this is a timeless character that deserves to be more than just stuck in a maze for his whole life eating fruit and ghosts.
I agree, but I disagree. So
Yeah,
here's where I stand. I, as a gamer, always want innovation and things to move forward and yeah, to bring things to a new life or to a new level. But if we do that with everything, then we almost lose sight of what we had. So there are sometimes I think certain characters or certain games have a certain value, and part of that is to remain in a certain frame to maintain the history of what we've built and what we've enjoyed.
yeah.
And maybe Pac-Man could be that in some ways, because I still think, man, how many like pizza joints or restaurants or things you go to and there's a Pac-Man game sitting in the corner, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's just kind of become part of the lore, like real life lore of Pac-Man, is that it was the one game you could use as a table, eat your pizza, and play a game at the same
Ah,
time, you
so
know?
great seeing those
So
things, man. Yeah.
I mean, so as much as I want to see this evolve and come into the 3D world and and be remade, part of me wants that piece to hold on. Like I still want to go to a pizza parlor and go and see in the corner there's a couple pinball machines and a Pac-Man game that you can sit down to with two shoddy benches and
Yeah.
two shoddy stools and eat your pizza and move the joystick that's probably been touched by way too many hands.
Sure. And that's a great observation, Brad. Lori in chat is actually pointing out that Dave and Buster's has a giant Pac-Man game. I've actually seen that and played it. It is mad. It's called like the world's largest Pac-Man game. I mean, the thing has to be like 12 feet tall. And it's a lot of fun to play, and naturally it attracts a crowd as people are seeing you play the game. But in this collection, Brad, one of the things that I quickly learned is that Pac-Man has had a lot of recent arcade and mobile game entries. And I remember one of the things that stood out to me when I went to an arcade a couple years ago is they had this Pac-Man, but I think it's called Pac-Man Battle Royale. That it was that tabletop style. They actually brought it back a couple years ago,
Mhm.
and it was a 4-player experience where you're all just kind of duking it out in the maze. And you can play that on the Namco collection. You can actually see what that was like. What a great idea of the tabletop experience. Yeah, it was really Pac-Man and maybe a couple others, but Pac-Man was the one. You know?
It was, man.
Yeah.
It was the one that I found everywhere. I mean, everyone had one, right?
Mhm.
Every establishment had one in the 80s and 90s. Like you couldn't go somewhere and not see that. There were three things. There was
Yeah.
pinball games, the one random golf game where you rolled the ball
Oh,
and
Golden
you
Tee.
teed
Yeah.
off. Yeah. And then a Pac-Man game. And then the like 25-cent gumball machine and sticker machines on the way out. Like
Hmm.
every establishment had those things, but you couldn't be complete without a tabletop Pac-Man game. I mean, you
Exactly.
couldn't.
Yeah, you couldn't.
So,
Not at all. Yeah, but yeah, so a very interesting remake, and one that I wasn't expecting to see announced in there, Brad. But overall, I was very impressed by this. I was going in with pretty low expectations, but I thought there was a little bit of something here for everybody, and some solid announcements, some solid exclusive announcements, like with the return to Monkey Island. That I mean, all in all, Brad, I thought this was for a mini. It didn't seem mini at all. I'll tell you that much.
Surprise new game announcement that could be your sleeper pick of the year. A couple new sequels that you're excited about. Some things that are now coming. Granted, they're in bundles, but coming to the Switch that have never come before. Yeah, I think overall there's some winners here. Like this was like you said, went in with lower expectations and was surprisingly, like left with feeling really good about it.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
We got Epic Capture Productions in the chat checking the Pac-Man cabinet prices on the internet. we're driving up the prices here on the QTB podcast. Now everybody wants one. I've been looking. I think it was the one-up cabinets, like the recreations. I would love to have a cab like that, just hanging out. Just more as like an art piece than as an actual game I'd play, which I would. Don't get me wrong.
I think that's a important part of physical gaming history, like in preservation, is making sure a couple of those units are preserved well enough to say, hey, this was it in the heyday, man. This is what you played.
Yeah.
But you put your quarters on the table, hold your spot, eat your piece of pizza, man. I'm just feeling. I've got tingles just talking about it.
I'm telling you, man. Well, Brad, I'll tell you what's an important part of QTB preservation, and that is our Patreon supporters. Oh, yes. As always, shout out to our QTB and Fuego supporters. I'm talking about Epic Capture Productions, Matt.Bat, and Alexa, and our QTB Plus supporters, Nick, the Dudist Monk, Indie Gamiacs, Alan Abadessa, Mr. Grove Games, the Intergalactic Pinecone, and Fluffy Bunny. And Brad, gotta give a shout out. We got our 2 new QTB crew members that joined this week. Shout out to Laurie in the chat, aka Kawaii Potato. Give her a follow on TikTok at KawaiiPotato.1. That's a period 1. Check it out. Great content, and also a big fan of the winner machines there, Brad. Can't go wrong. She's got a lot of pro tips on there to help you beat these machines. She's helped me out quite a bit. Shout out Laurie. I know all about that chopstick method. And, okay, get ready for this, Brad, because our second supporter, you want to talk about coming full circle, as you said. I don't want to steal your line, but you can go ahead and say it again.
That's all right.
Kirby Ball. We had Kirby Ball, just the Kirby Ball, join our Patreon. So shout out to Kirby Ball. You did it. We did it.
I mean, I have to give a shout out to Dale. He made it happen. I mean,
thanks,
we've come
Dale.
full circle. I mean, he's out there making the deals, including one of the best deals out there, being a QTB Patreon subscriber.
Oh my gosh,
for only
that's
$2 a month.
$2 a month.
You get bang for your buck.
That's right. And she even picked up a t-shirt. Go, Laurie. We see ya. Yeah, and I mean, look, when you are a QTB Patreon supporter, Brad, like you said, as little as $2 per month at patreon.com/quitthebuild, link is in the show notes, you get early access to the QTB podcast with your own custom RSS feed with the pre-show and the post-show included that you don't get anywhere else, aside from the live stream, of course. And also...
And let me tell you, that is worth it. It's worth the goal. It's where the magic is. It really is.
There's a lot of extra stuff in there for sure. And we also have the QTB Nostalgia Vault, which is our monthly bonus show we put out talking about just really what we want to talk about, but also what the fans want to hear. We just did an episode on TGIF talking about the glory days of the multicam sitcom. You cannot go wrong with a classic TGI block. So me and Bruno had a great time reminiscing about that. So check it out. There's just probably close to 100 hours of extra content now that you can only get on.
We have jam-packed a Nostalgia Vault with some great stuff. Nick, I still remember us talking about 007 James Bond Goldeneye. I mean, we've covered McDonald's, we covered Burger King. I mean, we have just Blockbuster. We've run the gamut, man. If you're a fan of 80s and 90s content, you got to be a subscriber. You got to check out the Nostalgia Vault. It's definitely worth a listen.
Absolutely. Thanks as always to our Patreon supporters. All right, so Brad, the second story, and this is kind of a palate cleanser since we had to kind of go through so many games there, and I think it's gaming adjacent enough that I want to talk about it because it's just fun. I like a good fun story, And this one is talking about a potential change to the Summer Olympics. So this is from the Hollywood Reporter, talking about how the Ninja Warrior obstacle course is being considered for inclusion in the Los Angeles 2028 Summer Olympics. essentially saying that. So there is the pentathlon event, right? That it's kind of a
yeah,
it's an odd one,
you read
isn't it?
my
A lot of
mind,
events,
but
yeah,
no, it to me, it kind of this is kind of a way of kind of fulfilling or being similar enough to that where your people are trying to learn and become experts in multiple different disciplines, right?
right.
The Ninja Warrior course kind of makes you become trained and fit for multiple challenges. So I could see how they could try to equate this to the pentathlon in a way to modernize it and make it a little bit more entertaining for the fans to watch rather than it being things like fencing and equestrian and swimming. You've got this really dynamic course that is fast paced, as we've seen on the American Ninja Warrior show on TV and things of that nature that has been kind of a replica of what we've seen globally. So, I mean, I don't think it's that far fetched to say that that could end up being an Olympic sport. I think people are, it's a growing sport. I think people are really embracing, and it's a sign of like balanced physical fitness. I mean, it takes strength, it takes speed, it takes mental stability, mental toughness, endurance to
Hmm.
each challenge presents something, a unique blend of both of the all of those things I just mentioned, right? So
Yep.
I actually think it could be something that becomes really popular, and you see some of the most well balanced athletes doing this instead of other events.
I would love to see it happen, and I think the kind of the bridging connection here as a topic to the podcast is Ninja Warrior is the real life platformer. It's the real life video game. And when you see it on the
Exactly.
course, it plays out in a 2D setting of going left to right and having to overcome these obstacles, much in the same way that someone that would be playing a platformer would have to. That it's a lot of fun to watch. And what's interesting is what like I was saying before, they're trying to have it become the fifth discipline. Say that 10 times fast of the modern pentathlon. So the pentathlon right now is fencing, swimming, equestrian show jumping, laser pistol shooting, which sounds cooler than it actually looks like. I've seen it, and also running. So in a way, like the pentathlon already is kind of a Ninja Warrior style course in that you have to really be well balanced and be able to do different things, but not necessarily all at once. But this is so they're trying to say that the equestrian show jumping they wanna swap that out, which it does sound like a very dated concept for a sport, and probably one of the reasons why you don't see the pentathlon broadcast a lot when the Olympics are on. That they want to swap that out for the Ninja Warrior course. So they're actually working directly with, I think it's like the Tokyo Broadcasting Company, TBS, yeah. So the creators of the original
Not
Sasuke.
the other TBS, but the
Yeah, yeah,
Tokyo
the
Broadcasting
Western
Company.
TBS, yeah, or the Eastern TBS. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they are actually creating like a test course they're going to try, and if it goes well, they want to have this obstacle course be designed by the creators of Ninja Warrior in order to have it be the fifth event replacing equestrian show jumping.
Well,
Yeah,
you talked about it being a replacement for that, right? And you're right. We got to be we talked about games moving forward to be representative of the development of the time. I think now we kind of looking at the article we're referencing here, they're saying that, it did start in Japan in 1997, but now it's become such a global hit. It's been seen in 160 countries with local versions of the show produced in over 20 countries. You would argue that that's a wider fan base and participation than equestrian show jumping, right?
yeah.
And no longer are you dependent on training and transporting horses, which is a nightmare in itself, right? That
Oh
that
yeah.
that's got PETA and issues written
Internationally,
all over
yeah.
it. So
Hmm.
internationally, that's really hard to do. So I think this is a recognition of saying, hey, we need to stay current with what's becoming popular, what's really a sign of indicative of athletic performance and competition.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a
I'm
very
I'm
cool
I'm,
little
I'm here
story.
for it.
Oh
I
yeah.
could just see though. I'm so used to the over the top announcers on our American show being replaced with like competitive, strict, like really like
Oh
the,
man.
the Olympic announcers like here she goes. She's
Yeah.
going through the course. Oh,
They
there's
need to
one,
get
two,
them. They
three.
need to get
She's
them.
made it to the next up. I mean, you could see.
Yeah.
I want there to be some liveliness to the broadcasting aspect of it.
Yeah, we
So
need we need Matt and Akbar out there given the
yeah,
color commentary because they make American Ninja Warrior. I've always said like I love the idea of Ninja Warrior, but what they've been doing with the NBC run there of American Ninja Warrior, which has been on for a while, it seems like it's like 80% like sob stories of like, here's the inspirational story behind this person. Don't get me wrong, some of them have amazing stories. But then like it's like, for every 10 minutes of someone's bio, you're getting like a 30-second run where they wipe out on the second obstacle. So you're getting very little actual like Ninja Warrior gameplay, which when you watch the version of it from Japan, Sasuke, it is straight up just go 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 go. Like, oh, you failed, get out of here. Next guy's next. So it's much more rapid fire. And I've come to enjoy that style much more than what the American version has become. So I'd love to see this make it in and see some of these athletes that have dedicated their lives to Ninja Warrior. Like they train religiously to get to be on that show every year. Some of them have even made like ninja gyms and that kind of thing and built their own businesses around the concept. I would love to see them get their due. These are fit, skilled athletes that fit into a pretty specific niche. Get them out there. They can swim. They can do the other events. I want to see, Jesse Graff out there, competing with the best of them in a sport that she has mastered. Absolutely.
Again, I think it's a sign of the times, and I appreciate that the Olympics is looking for ways to innovate to recognize athletes of all shapes and sizes. I think it's great. I'm here for it.
We have some great comments there. Epic Capture Productions saying, my brain just exploded that Ninja Warrior is a real-life version of 2D gaming. It really is. And also Lori saying the warped wall always makes my hands sweat. Yeah, that's always the big thing that happens, right? When people are trying to get over the wall. And also we have Dudist Monk saying MXC would have been a better choice to model it after. I'm pretty sure Fall Guys is modeled after MXC, so you have that going for you, right? Get it on.
Yeah. We just need. I want moment by moment commentary on Fall Guys though. I want someone to be calling my matches and be like, oh, and then he takes a spill.
Yeah, exactly.
Or he gets whacked by the hammer.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Guy LaDouche just gets whacked by the hammer.
Guy here. Oh, Guy like. That's right. Yeah. Oh man. Those of you that don't know, MXC, great show back in the day on Spike TV that was essentially taking Takeshi's Castle. That was a game show with Beat Takeshi, who was a huge, still to this day is a huge comedian and an actor, big name in Japan. And the only reason why they stopped making the episodes of MXC was they ran out of footage for Takeshi's Castle. They didn't have any more. So they're like, what do we do now? It's not, we're using other people's, Kenny Blankenship and Vic Romano, they're long gone. So they're still around. It's just, there's no more episodes to film. So man, That's, don't get me started on MXC. That's my show.
I'm with you. It's a great show. I love rewatching those episodes.
Well, I'll tell you.
You know what else I love, Nick?
What do you like?
You know what else I love?
Yeah.
I love our socials. I love where we're all at. You got to come check out our website. You got to come check out quitthebill.com.
There you go.
You got to come check out our network page, our community page, our merch page. We've got some awesome merch on there. We're everywhere. We're TikTok. Nick, you're putting out bangers left and right every day on TikTok.
It doesn't stop. TikTok on the clock.
Our TikTok doesn't jiggle, it folds, right? Come on, we're everywhere. You got to come check us out. You got to, what am I missing, Nick? Tell them. What am I missing?
You hit it all, man. Make sure to check out our blog. We got lots of great articles there for you. Our community page will get you hooked up.
Our Discord with Terry, Discord Lord Terry.
We've got all the we got the memes. We got the conversations. We're having a lot of fun on Discord, so make sure to join us. Again, the link to that is at the bottom of the community page on quitthebill.com. And Brad, don't forget to join me because tomorrow, and that is June 29th.
Live event, right?
From 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., I'm going to be doing a live TikTok stream through the Winner Winner Arcade. It's at Winner Winner Arcade on TikTok. We're going to be doing a live streamed crane game claw machine there. We did one last week. It was a lot of fun. I was doing jingles. We were catching weasel balls. Everyone was having a blast. You don't want to miss it. So check it out there again on TikTok at Winner Winner Arcade. And I'll see you there, Brad.
Sounds like a date.
All right.
Dad date.
Dad, that's right. It's a dad day. Oh, man. All right. Well, I guess it's my turn to take us on out of here. As we say here on the QTB podcast, until next time, for Brad, I'm Nick.
And for Nick, I'm Brad. Peace out. What it do?